We're back, baby. After a brief hiatus in which Dan passed a kidney stone, we're back for season 3. We're going to be doing even more extreme sports.
I heard it clink off of the toilet.
Just kidding. Oh, my Lord. Just kidding. We're going to be talking Colorado sports once again this season. Today, we're going to be talking Jokic, Murray, what happened, the Broncos, what maybe is happening. Bo Nix, do we love him? Do we not?
We love him.
Let's see. Dan, play that funky music. We are back on the Blues for Brothers. After a brief hiatus, we have been monitoring the sports world, and it's healing, Ryan. We're seeing football sprout yet again. While the weeds of the Rockies are withering away and dying, they're letting the fertile soil sprout up in Serbia and give us a beautiful, beautiful semifinal matchup in which I will be cheering against my home country. Pretty shamelessly. Ryan, it's been a while since we have spoken over the microphones. We have spoken in real life since then. My child turned 3. You guys were both there at the birthday party. It was a fun-loving fiesta. So we've been together in person, but great to talk to you over the microphone, Ryan. How are you doing, buddy?
As you well know, the Olympics is probably in terms of my sweet spot of a sports adventure, I think the Olympics is probably the top of my list. And I honestly...
How's the European time zone been going for you? Because it's been unbelievable for me. But I also have a toddler who gets up real early.
Well,
so,
I can tell you...
Like, that Serbia game was...
perfect.
Sweet spot for me.
I can tell you that I was having a conversation with Sophie yesterday, and she was like, "You've been getting up really early the last week and a half," and she literally didn't put it together. And I was like, "Yeah, the Olympics are going on, so I have been getting up at 6 a.m. You are correct."
There's nothing better too. For me, I have to sometimes go on imaginary trips to the airport or stuff while I'm watching the Olympics, but it's still great. But you just have to get out of bed, you can start the coffee, and then you can just get a little blanket, and you're not going to go back to bed, but you can relax and kind of get your day going. Or is that not your move? You're shaking your head.
No,
that always used to be my move.
Yeah, but I am watching.
I'm
watching
slow.
these like a hawk. You're talking about easing into your day. I'm waking up at 5:30 a.m. jacked that Serbia's playing basketball. I'm not going back to bed. I'm making myself a quadruple espresso, and I'm going into my office. I'm putting the multi-view on the TV in front of me. I got
not even on the couch.
I got maybe another screen of a different sport going on in my second monitor, and I'm maybe cranking away at some emails. I'm not a...
You're an intense Olympics watcher. I mean, you said it was one of your favorite times.
It really, anytime I can be watching really high-level track and really high-level basketball at the same time, that's kind of my sweet spot. I don't care if it's the first round of the 400-meter hurdles at 5:30 in the morning. If it's on... I'm probably going to want to watch it. And if I'm not watching it live, I'm going to want to watch the replay, which has been great with Peacock. I've just been cranking, my entire workday is narrated in the background by Olympics.
It's
in my current position, you could make an argument that it is work watching the Olympics. So
yeah, that's true. I have to ask you, what has been your favorite Olympic? You can't use Jokic or athletes that you there are maybe well-known stars coming in. I know you probably have more track knowledge than the average person, but sorry, Noah Lyles, but you were not my favorite Olympic performance. And honestly, the 100 is overrated as an event. But that's another story for another
Agreed.
podcast. So who's been your like kind of under the radar like performance at the Olympics? You know where you like get those things where just randomly you're like, dude, I didn't really know anything about this person, but they did a nice job of kind of providing you some background on their struggle. And then by the end, you're like, dude, I would die for this guy or gal. Because I was very into that 400 today.
Oh, yeah.
That.
Quincy Hall.
Just like the grit of it.
So
I don't know anything about him, but I just like the race almost told the story of like coming from that far back, but like everyone looked miserable at the end of that race. And he just was like, well, I'm willing to be 10% more miserable to be a gold medalist than you are. Let's dance.
There was a crazy graphic going around that was the 100-meter splits from that race. And like every guy splits over 12 seconds for their last 100, which is not fast for that race. And he had the fastest last 100 split, to your point. Like he was truly just like, and his quotes afterwards, they're worth looking up. He's just like, that dog ain't gonna stop chasing you. Like he is a dog. I think it's his Instagram handle is dog related, and he's got that dog in him. But my favorite, and I think it goes back to gambling a little bit, was the Bobby Fink in the 1500 meter freestyle. So I don't know how much you were following the swimming. But the big battle was between the U.S. and Australia in terms of gold medals. And it looked like they were going to tie because the relays were going to go to the U.S. and maybe the women would win or the men would win and we'd get it that way. But then early that morning, Bobby Fink breaks the world record in the 1500 meter and just takes it to this Australian guy. And I had watched him swim in the 800 earlier, and he won that too and looked unbelievable doing it. And I saw he was like plus 650 on DraftKings, and I was like, wow, I'm going to take a little Bobby Fink flyer. So that was just like, I mean, one, it sealed the U.S. having more gold medals than the Australians, which is unbelievable. And the fact that he did it in a world record, his sisters were mic'd up during the race. It's like a 7-minute race.
I love that.
Like, and they're good swimmers, and they're like, oh, we're really happy to be. They'd never seen him swim live in the Olympics. Like, yeah, just perfect. You know, it's that perfect amalgamation
10 out of 10
of things coming together. But it did happen at 6 o'clock in the morning. To your point,
great. Seems lovely. It is nice that the U.S., we have, like, different rivalries in, like, different sports. Like, track, it's like, oh, okay, it's us versus Jamaica. Like, it's us for, like, oh, China is really good in the gymnastics. Like, oh, it's us versus the Australians in the pool. And then, because, like, when you look at the medal count at the end of the Olympics, you're like, oh, we kind of beat everyone's ass. Like, total medals, we're gonna kind of beat your ass. But it's fun to get the little rivalries throughout.
It's the gold medals really that like you got to kind of look at, because that's where the other countries can maybe keep up. Close. Like it's not they're not, the depth of the U.S. is unbeatable. Like we're gonna get a bronze or a silver in almost every track event. Like it's just hard to keep up.
Yeah, it's wild. I still can't believe we let that high jumper or pole vaulter get away.
Oh, the
guy who's unbelievable.
Sweden.
But he's from Louisiana.
Yeah, his parents.
Like, why did we just?
His parents both vaulted for Sweden. Mondo. Yeah, he is probably honestly. Well, he's too young to really make this argument yet. But there's a real possibility that his world records won't ever be touched by anybody. Like, he's so far and away the best pole vaulter that has ever existed that
he's in the Ledecky zone.
It's beyond. It's honestly beyond Ledecky. Like, because he can only win one gold medal. Like, if they gave out 8 gold medals for being the best pole vaulter, he'd win every single one of them. You know, like, he just can't do anything else. But he is more dominant than Ledecky is at her most dominant event at the pole vault. Like, to the point where the other competitors are like his cheerleaders. Like, they're literally just like, all right, we'll see who gets silver. Mondo's gonna beat our ass again. Like, it's
Yeah.
so there have been really fun track events. And honestly, I think Tokyo really robbed us because the crowds are just, it's what makes the Olympics fun, is like seeing these French athletes just have unbelievable performances because 60,000 people are cheering for you. Like, that has to feel unbelievable. Like, and the crowd's been great. So it's been a very fun viewing experience.
Yes. All right. We promise we will get back to the Colorado thing.
Honestly,
here.
though, it's all Colorado in this Olympics. The two best women's soccer players are from Highlands Ranch and Windsor. It's
who are you saying are the
Sophia Smith and Mallory Swanson.
Okay, great. I thought you were uttering what is a very nice young lady, and she has come to the Nuggets games to do the first
Lindsay
shot.
Horan.
Lindsay Horan has been awful.
She hasn't played very
Good
well.
Lord, since the World Cup. She had that one cool header against her teammate after she talked a bunch of stuff to her. But, God, if we don't win gold, she will be why. Yeah. But, okay. That's great.
Lots of Colorado.
I was like,
lots of Colorado representation in the Olympics. That's all we gotta say.
Yeah, it's been great. So, to give people a rundown of the episode from now, we're going to be talking the Jokic Australia game, and it might bleed into a little Serbia-U.S. round 3, which is weird to me that like South Sudan played the U.S. leading up to it when they're in their group. If I was South Sudan, I would have absolutely wanted to blitz them. And you want to have that game that you had the first time against them. I understand maybe you don't because of stakes, but like, why would you show the U.S.
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me. But so we're going to talk about Serbia. We're going to talk about Jokic. We're going to talk about the bad. We've got Jamal. He has been getting roasted online, deservedly so. He played pretty bad for Team Canada, and we'll kind of talk about why we think that maybe happened and if it affects his contract negotiations with the Nuggets, and or kind of how we view him as a player, right? Like, and what that looks like. And then we've got Broncos training camp. We got our first preseason game here, so we're gonna get to see Bo the Show with live. Kind of very base defenses, not trying super hard,
quote
but
Jason
kind of
Isbell
hard.
In Killers of the Flower Moon. Shoot me! Shoot me!
I see.
That's how I feel about
well
Bo
said,
Nix.
We're not Bo Nix believers, but I want to believe. Ryan doesn't want to believe. That's the separation between us. Like, I can be hustled. Like, we're both
I'm gonna
watching
have
the guy
to see.
like on the street with the
We
three
can get
cards.
into this.
I've been rewatching a
We can
lot
get into
of
this.
White Collar. So I'm
Why?
the guy watching Neil Cafferty
Why?
with the cards because it's an easy show to fall
All right,
asleep to.
let's go. Let's
But
talk about.
I
Serbia.
want to step up there and play the 3-card thing, even though I'm making fun of the other people for losing. Ryan does not want to approach the booth and try to find the king.
No, I'm gonna.
It's not
I'm gonna,
lucky. He wouldn't
I'm gonna
like
watch the game 5 times and watch 5 people lose and be like, nope, not interested. Nope, not going in there. I'm not gonna do that.
Doesn't seem
Yeah.
good. Yeah. All right. So let's start off with a
3-card Monty
thing here.
That's what it's called.
Right you are. Good pull. First things first, Jokic pooped down Australia's throats for every minute he was in the game, despite his coach and teammates seeming to be unaware that he's the best player in the world. A lot of guards calling their own number out there.
A lot of rejected screens
and-
by Miocic.
Yeah. But to close it out.
Oh my God.
He
it was
has
a masterclass.
Block, steal, block. Oh, and then after the second steal, he gets a putback bucket. He does the legal goaltend.
Knocks it off the rim.
Then he gets the Serbian announcers laughing with the Sombor shuffle. If you haven't seen that call, a lot of media copyrights took it down on the old X, but I'm sure you can find it. But the guys, they're speaking Serbian, and then Jokic hits the shot, and you just hear the guys start laughing. And Ryan, you and I in Section 371 have had his exact laugh.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that disbelief of like, well, good try, other team. But he's decided you're going to lose now. And he cackles laughing, and then he just goes, Sombor shuffle, baby! And I was showing everyone at work this highlight. It was unbelievable. Jokic is so good in these Olympics. Obviously, first time in group play, he played U.S. They were even when Jokic played, and they lost by 26 points in the 9 minutes he sat.
It's like it's the true Jokic viewing experience, because I've watched almost every Serbia game. To be fair, I didn't watch them play South Sudan. I skipped that one, but.
Oh, I did watch that one. I skipped the one where they beat the hell out of Cuba? Puerto Rico.
Well, whoever. But he has been impactful. Like, a lot of what you said was not on the offensive end. Like, the thing that has been the most impressive to me about this Olympics is even when Patty Mills hit the unbelievable shot to send him to overtime, that was great defense by Jokic. Like, Patty Mills was chasing the ball that he had lost because Jokic was playing good perimeter defense on him. Granted, it's Patty Mills, and, like, that's not the NBA's elite, but, like, Jokic is just so impactful, and he's so smart, and it's so evident in the international game because of the way that it's played. Like, those guys around him don't have to do anything. They're just, I think probably the best analogy that it's like to watch Jokic play in person is he's a planet, and everything else on the floor just like orbits around him. And in this play, he's making these guys from Serbia look good.
It gets lost because of the block steal into the Sombor shuffle, like the hook shot. But that cross-court pass he made to hit that guy for that three to go up in overtime was absolutely dirty. Like, he flings it basically no look. And we've seen it in Denver all the time. But, like, it's not just that he gets it there. It's that it's right in that guy's pocket. Like, that guy wasn't crazy open. Like, it's not like, sometimes Jokic gets it and a guy is so wide open. And once again, it's because of all the attention. But, like, you have to see him. But once you've seen him, it's kind of like, yeah, just throw it anywhere near him, man. He's wide open. He's going to score. This one, it was like, it's like a quarterback throwing wide receivers open, almost. He's like, I'm going to put this in this spot, and this guy doesn't think I can put it that good, so he thinks he can be that extra step away to help off of me, but I know he's one step too far if I throw it perfect to you. Yeah. And it's filthy to watch.
No, he's too good, honestly. Like, it's this team should not be where they are. Like,
it's him and Bogdanovich, and it is I mean, even watching against Australia, like you said, Patty Mills and Josh Giddey are not going to be playing in the All-Star game this year in the NBA. And these Serbian guards,
I heard Josh Giddey was going to do a pro-am at some high school in LA. Was that?
That'll be good.
Was that just a rumor? I don't know.
Yeah, I think just a rumor. But I mean, you see also the other thing that I wanted to mention from Serbia, that for better or worse, you see the style of basketball and you see some of the influence upon Jokic, is that it's frustrating for us to watch it and go, hey man, remember how you're in the third division in Serbia? Jokic is the best player in the world. In what fucking world do you look him off and not pass him the ball? Give him the ball, please. But it's kind of that mentality that they have. And like, hey, we make the right play. We run the system. We do the thing. The shots will come. And so you see that early Jokic when there would be games where he would shoot 4 times.
Yep.
And he'd be like, well, I mean,
we made the
that
right
guy's
plays.
open all the time. Why would I do it?
Made the right
yeah,
plays.
and you're like, well,
the crazy part.
Sometimes him open is worse than you.
And that's such a great point, and I think it's part of what's made his performance so outstanding is that he doesn't break the system when he's taking over the game. Like when he took over that Australia game, everything was in the flow of the game. He just made it so like there is no other option but to give me the ball in this position where I want it because it's the right basketball play. And I'm going to orchestrate everything to make sure that we get to that position. But you all aren't even going to know it's happening necessarily. But like, I'm going to make that happen. And it's unbelievable. I think they're probably going to get wrecked tomorrow.
That was gonna be my next question. Is there any chance? The only way I see a chance, because that first game against the U.S., they got out to a run. Their guys were hitting threes. I don't think you want to punch the U.S. in the mouth early. I think you want to just try to keep yourself down 10 and hang around. And then the only thing we haven't seen from Jokic yet this Olympics, and we haven't seen it from him in a while because he hasn't had to. And it's definitely, we need Jokic to not make the right basketball play all the time because he's going to have to jack some threes here. Like Serbia, you can't be close to the U.S. in three-pointers. No. You have to have Jokic start pulling Bam, AD, all those guys way out there. They're biting on fakes. Then all of a sudden he's getting free throws. He's doing, like he's just putting them in tough spots and they're getting frustrated. But I agree with you. I think the U.S.
The only other thing that I can say is you need somebody other than Bogdanovic to get hot from three. Yeah. Like that French guy was just unconscious and Canada's is gone.
Right.
Like that's, but he was like fucking whatever, 6 for 11 from three or something. Like it was not a normal performance. And so you need one of those Serbian guys to just get hot. But to your point, I think you need him to get hot in the third quarter and go on like a 22-8 run and then be up 15 and then let Jokic control the game and just be like, big fella's got every possession here and, we'll see if he can come back. We're going to score a lot of 2 points here.
We've seen this U.S. team under pressure. They sometimes go back to some of that individual basketball and jack some threes to get back into it. It's the only way. And they pay really
honestly, the international game is so fast. You really just need to be within like 10, 12 in the fourth quarter and then go for that run right at the beginning of the fourth quarter and get their buttholes puckered a little bit. Because to your point, I think the only thing that can really rattle the team with this much talent is when they start questioning who should be taking the shot. And these guys don't question that. Like they think they should be taking the shot, which again, it's a problem because you get a lot of ISO ball when they're like, why would I be passing right now? Like we need a bucket. I am a living bucket. So it doesn't matter who.
This is what I do.
No problem. I'll go get a bucket. Yeah. So
but I would predict the U.S. to come out.
Yeah, I think.
But if Jokic goes nuclear, I'm telling you, Ryan, I might leave. I might leave the country. I might just not be able to be around other people that don't want to talk about Jokic. So I might just buy a plane ticket to Serbia and just spend some time there. and watch the gold medal game from Serbia. Other side of the bracket, quickly, just to do it. Germany's going to smoke France, right?
I don't know, dude.
These referees have been wild for France,
French
by the way.
has been insane. And it's not like the French team is bad. Like, there are good players on that team, obviously, with Wemby. And Fournier's been playing well. Like, there are NBA players on that roster. That one guy just shot the shit out of the ball last game, as I mentioned.
I was going to say.
But
I don't think he can do that again.
Yeah, but Germany's a bigger team. So I kind of think France does match up a little bit better against them than I thought they did against Canada. I thought Canada was going to smoke them, and they should have, really. But yeah,
that's a great transition for you. I'm picking Germany. What are you? Are you going on the Frenchies?
I think I'm going to pick France.
Are we getting the French US? Okay. I mean, that'd be pretty hype. NBC would be thrilled to get Wemby versus this U.S. team. French would get dog walked down.
All
in that
I'm saying
game,
is that
but that's
a lot of these officials are European, and there have been a lot of officiating scandals in European soccer. So let's just I would just be placing a bet on the money line for France and just saying I think there might be a quick toot toot on one side here. So.
Yeah, it might be, but this Germany team is really fun to watch too.
No, the Wagners and Schroeder, like, they're such good international type. I mean, they're good in the NBA too, but they're really built for the type of game that is played internationally.
No, they just play smart, play good. The team that France knocked out, Canada, Jamal Murray, our boy. I was ready for Jamal to kind of rise to the occasion and kind of have some moments in this Olympics. And the only moment was him pooping down his leg every game, pretty much. And can I say, I know that there's a little bit of like, you had a little injury thing. Then don't go. Don't play.
Yeah.
You're about to be up for a max contract, and your team, if there's one thing this Canada team didn't need, it was another guard. Now, obviously, they missed his scoring. Like, it was pretty obvious that, like, outside of Shea, it wasn't
you could
a lot
play
of creation,
Shea and
which
Jamal
has limited
internationally too. It's not.
Yeah, and they tried.
Yeah,
He just couldn't make a basket.
He looked hurt.
Then they were like, Here's my. So I guess I'll just ask you first. Where's your panic meter about Jamal Murray? We saw him not look good against Minnesota. Obviously a team with unbelievable defenders, and he was banged up, worn out a little bit. But now we've seen him look pretty bad. We were big on last season was going to be the year of Jamal preseason. I thought he was going to carry over his momentum. I thought he had a lot of contract reasons that you see in the NBA for guys to have big years. And he had some injuries once again. But at what point are these injuries adding up and we are in a bad spot and we're in trouble here? And like, I don't know anyone who is sane who doesn't think that the Nuggets should pay him. But now there was those reports that there were some disagreements about injury clauses, just kind of the details in the contract. I'd like to see the Nuggets hold on those. And I am concerned about this back half of his career because he could rewrite it and it could be unbelievable. We could be like, dude, why were we concerned about that? The Nuggets went on, he did great and got 2 more titles, and he's going to go down as a great guard, right? But there's a world in which the wheels do come off of this.
Yeah, okay, so I think there's a couple things there. Well, there's a lot there, but I think in terms of how concerned I am, Listen, he doesn't look healthy, right? So that's number one. The Canada coach came out and said that he has been on a minutes restriction. To your point about why go, I think to him it's just a pride thing. Like, he wants to go, he wants to represent his country. He did probably think that like he could come off the bench and score in short bursts and give them some energy, and even in the limited minutes, you can talk yourself into that easily. So I'm not worried about why he went. The contract situation is interesting. Like, it's not anything, right? Like, to go when you're in negotiations over your supermax, or not a supermax, but a max contract extension, is an interesting move. And he's probably regretting that right now. Like, he probably wishes he would have signed whatever deal they put in front of him, because those injury things are not going to go away. Like, NBA franchises, particularly the Cronkies, are not people that do these deals out of goodwill. Like, that is not the type of thing that they're going to do. Ask Carmelo Anthony. So I think the overall concern level is not that high for me, because I think a diminished Jamal Murray can be made extraordinary by Nikola Jokic. Do I think that we should just shop Jamal Murray? Like, I don't think that's a crazy idea. I don't think that riding this entire year out and being like, all right, man, like, if you aren't going to sign this deal that we put in front of you, like, don't negotiate anymore. Just stop negotiating and be like, listen, we made our offer. Like, this is a max extension. These are the injury guarantees we need in it. Like, if you want to play it out, like, let's play it out. Who gives a shit? Like, honestly, like, Jamal Murray is a really excellent basketball player. And I think that he obviously fits extraordinarily well with Nikola Jokic. That pick and roll has been unbelievable. Do I think that skill is not replaceable by some level of guard similar to Jamal Murray? Like, no, I don't think so. I think that a lot of people can do similar things to what Jamal is doing. Obviously, you don't want to lose him for nothing. So playing the year out is probably not the smartest thing. But
Jamal Murray for Steph Curry. Who says
the Warriors, sadly.
Yeah. Oh my God, they'd hang up that phone so fast. But can you imagine?
No,
if the Warriors just said like, "Hey, we're gonna do right by you, man. There's no way we can build a team here for you."
Honestly,
we're gonna give.
Do you want me to throw you like I've been thinking a lot about the Nuggets recently.
Okay, yes, I do want you, because I want you to give me a realistic one, because I think this will be an informative conversation of, hey, where is your pecking order in the NBA, where you're like, hey, I think the Nuggets could realistically get this player for Jamal.
I honestly don't even know. I haven't done enough about what I would want back. But the pipe dream that I've been dreaming of, you said realistic, and I was like, we're not thinking the same thing.
The way you said it.
But the pipe dream that I've been thinking about is just packaging Mike and Jamal and being like, listen, like, who wants to make a fucking deal? Like, if you call the Pelicans, could we get Zion and like a guard? Jose Alvarado and some picks for Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal. Like, I would do that. So I just think that there are those type of, if you're willing to just say, hey, like, maybe we're not as tied to Jamal Murray as we thought we were. I think there are some things that you can sort of get creative with, but it's not easy, right? Like, I'm not even endorsing that sort of thing, but
what about, and I don't know if I don't think I'd be excited about this, but what if the Hawks say, hey, we're ready to get out of the Trae Young
I don't
market.
want Trae Young.
I think I'd be okay.
He doesn't set picks. He can't set a pick.
He'd set a pick if Mike Malone told him to set a pick for Nikola
He doesn't.
Jokic.
Like, it's the whole reason their offense doesn't really work. I don't like that, but I think you're in the right. Yeah, that's you can get
A guy who's been an all-star.
You can get a star.
Murray hasn't, but he's out east.
You can get a star for Jamal Murray. You absolutely can. And I think if you're really willing...
Cavs for Garland. They say, hey, we're going to go with the Bubble Brothers.
I'll go.
The Bubble Brothers, baby. They once dueled against each other, combined.
I'll go Sexton.
Their powers.
And you're honestly, you could also get some serious draft capital back. Like if Booth really believes in his ability to identify talent and the league is trending younger, like that it's sort of becoming the NFL where it is pretty much a hard cap. So like the rookie contracts become really valuable. If you can hit on a rookie, you have a cheap deal for the next 5 years, and that opens your championship window longer. Like that, it's kind of trending that way. So if you can offload Jamal for like a really good wing defender and a replacement level guard, and then get a bunch of draft capital back.
Yeah.
Go fleece the Magic. Like they're sitting there. They want to be fleeced.
I don't know. I think the Magic kind of like their team, but I say all this. I think it's a fun thought exercise. In the end, do I think anything is going to happen? No. I still think if one of the big three is going to go, it's going to be Porter.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. I think we've had unbelievable moments with Murray, and I kind of want to see him go down in the Nuggets jersey.
No,
whether the wheels fall off, they fall
nothing
off.
Nothing is exciting.
We never thought we were going to win a championship, and I never thought we'd have a guy who just put it in the Lakers' behinds in a series and let them know about it 2 years straight. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, the cluster injuries are a little worrying. That is what, like, when you start getting your knee and your hamstring and your ankle and it's all on the same side, trust me, I know, like my right side is a nightmare, and it was all on the right side of my body, and it just compounds on itself.
And I think back to that profile of Jamal Murray, and it's been referenced a lot and in positive ways of like, this was a guy who his coach, took his shoes away and found Jamal Murray shooting barefoot. Yeah. So a soft tissue injury, the only way to make your hamstring better is to stop moving on your hamstring. Like, you can do treatments and, like that, but like he needs to not play for a while now. Like he just needs to rest. Yeah. And I feel like he's going to be pissed that he sucked, and he's going to want to get back in the gym because that's the only way he knows how to fix things, how to get things right.
Yeah. But you hope that there's just somebody in his corner.
And just
you hope that there's somebody
who's like, hey, man.
You don't have to burn the house down right now. Like, now you've done your thing. Like, it's over. We're building towards May of next year. Like,
yeah. Have we maybe, even as Nuggets fans, as much as we've had to fight with them and the national media to give Jokic recognition, have we maybe undersold Jokic? Because watching Murray without Jokic, and like you said, injury, like I'm not just, but like it's always been the thing of like, hey, we've never had an all-star. We've never had someone on a first team defense, first team. And like, we kind of like, it's hard to be like, Jamal Murray's a top 10 guard in the NBA. Like when there's performances like this.
No, I don't.
And against Minnesota, like, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to.
He's not consistent
enough. Like, man, did I not give Jokic enough credit for just how good he is? Like,
I think that
for our championship run, like, because there'd be games where Murray would lose his mind. But it's just kind of like, oh, jeez, man. Like, good God.
I think that the Olympics are solidifying what everybody sort of already knew, which is that Jokic is the best player in the world. and it's not particularly close. Like we're talking about.
To me, it just seems generational.
We're talking about a gap that is like almost MJ in the 90s big. Like, because people are arguing that Joel Embiid is the second best player in the world. Like, okay, he doesn't start for the U.S. team. Like, he didn't play an entire fucking game. Jason Tatum is the third best player in the NBA. Like, I don't know. Look at the minutes. Like, what are we talking about? So I just and he's going to play for a bronze medal at the very least. The guy is going to play for a bronze medal with like the Serbian national team, which again, not a bunch of slouches. Like, Serbia is a very proud basketball country. They're very good at basketball. Blah 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 blah. None of them play in the NBA except Bogdan Bogdanovic and Micic, who sucks. Like, Micic
and Jovic. Don't forget about Jovic.
And Jovic. But Micic, you watch him on an NBA court, and it is like watching a toddler. It's so frustrating. And watching him on this team, it's like, oh, you're kind of good, but it's only because Jokic is standing there setting the screen for him. Like, I think that you're right to point out that it's generational, and it's not to be taken lightly. And I think we just have to continue to remind ourselves.
Yeah. Like, I think we're just at this place where Bill Simmons famously said, hey, if you're going to be an all-time great, I need to know that just you and a halfway competent roster is going to make the playoffs. And Jokic and some not halfway competent rosters due to injury have always made the playoffs and have just like, he's just like, hey, we're winning. We're winning.
I'll go back to that Warriors series, and I think all Nuggets have that little Nuggets fans have that little bit of imposter syndrome of like, we don't really belong. And I think it was the Warriors series with Facu and just that terribly depleted roster where we took a game off of them. And Draymond afterwards was like, yo, Jokic is a real MFer. Like, that guy is not to be messed with. And I think that was where everybody truly, like, the real basketball fans, the real people following it. Obviously, I think that was his MVP year. So he had an unbelievable season, but it was clear from that series where he made it relatively competitive with the Warriors team that was stacked. And we were literally starting Facu Campazzo. Like, it was, that's worse than the Serbia team he has now. And he won a game against the Warriors. Like, that's unbelievable. I just, I'm so excited.
Argentina did not qualify for the Olympics, and Facu Campazzo is their best player. They can't qualify. Yeah. And, like, that guy was starting on a playoff team. It's wild. All right. That's enough of that. Jamal Murray signed the contract. Let's get back to cheering for the Nuggets and just loving all of our Nuggets.
Are you gonna
come on back? We're already ready to love up.
Are you gonna buy a Russ jersey?
I think so.
I think I am too.
Yeah, I really think I want to. Yeah. It's gonna be.
It's awesome. Crazy because I'm only gonna have owned a Jokic and a Russell Westbrook Nuggets jersey in the championship
seems
era.
Good. Seems good. I think that's the right move. I can't wait to have a hard to defend, but just doing the Lord's work defending our point guards. Both of them. Let's get into some Broncos talk, though, to close this thing out. I don't want to go too much in depth. To give people a little bit of a preview of what we're going to do. Next week, we're going to do our NFC preview. We'll hand out some quick-fire division winners. We'll talk about some things we're interested in, kind of a big picture, who we think is going to come out of the NFC. Then we'll do AFC, and then the week before the season, baby, it's time for the Broncos preview. We'll have seen
Broncos and Dolphins
preseason. They will not be a Dolphins preview. Dan will mute Ryan's microphone if there is too much to a talk. But So don't worry, Broncos fans. Don't feel like we're neglecting you or we're never going to talk about it. We are absolutely going to talk about it.
I will
It's
say,
just,
be worried.
right now, there's been no meaningful football. Yeah. I mean, you may not like all the things we have to say. Okay, so training camp takeaways. Obviously, the depth chart doesn't matter. I think everyone caught on to that. Everyone's like, oh, Bo Nix is third, except he's gotten all the first team reps 6 of the last 9 practices. So I think we haven't looked good offensively since we put on the
say
pads.
The least.
And it's concerning to me because I'm starting to, get in my fantasy football research, and I forgot that we were like a pretty historically bad defense to start this season last year. We gave up like 5-point-something yards per run, and we play a unbelievably hard schedule this year. So it's I think Sharp has us as like the 25th hardest schedule. And it's not good. So yeah. The I guess, has there been for you anything meaningful coming out of these first few weeks, or something that you're kind of, I'll be interested to see what that kind of looks like?
I'm only on Sean Payton watch. Like, I just want to hear what he's saying. I want to know exactly what his expectations. He's obviously not going to tell us, but he was sort of telling us when Russ was shitting the bed in preseason. Yeah. Like, he doesn't really have a very good poker face. So I'm hoping that as training camp evolves, he'll start to get a little bit more colorful. He honestly hasn't really even dropped anything yet, but listen, I mean, the quarterback situation is what it is. Like,
who do you want to start with?
Stidham.
It kind of appears like they're going to give it to Nick.
I know, it's so stupid.
But I agree with you.
Every single use case that we have is that starting a rookie is detrimental. It's never, ever helped anybody. Like, the NFL game is crazy. Just throw Stidham out there. He sucks, but so does Nix. Like, I'm not saying Nix is always going to suck, but they're going to be very similar in that first week because Nix is going to make rookie mistakes that everybody knows that rookies make. It's really, honestly, I think it's super detrimental to Nix's development to start him week 1. I don't think that that's a smart decision, and I think Peyton's ego is probably going to make him do that because he got such a big boner on draft day that he made him draft him. Yeah. And by big boner, I mean it's like 2.5 inches, but it was rock hard.
Blue steel, baby. Like the Rocky Mountains. The point that I want to make to Broncos fans is that you should, if you have the right expectations, and I think we talked about this briefly, like, you can have fun this season being a Broncos fan if certain things go right. You just can't have your expectations for those things to be us winning a lot of football games. You can still have a fun 4-13 season. Like, you can do that and walk out of this season feeling good about the fact that it has become very clear that Sean Payton is going to run this team for better or worse, until that contract's up. This team has over $60 million in dead cap. And the other thing that I saw that I really liked from Kevin Clark, formerly of The Ringer, now at ESPN, but he was talking about, like, rookie quarterbacks pretty much always suck. And it's not necessarily bad to suck or an indicator. Like, he was talking about, like, Manning has the most rookie interceptions. Alex Smith, who went on to, he was not a barn burner, but he made over $200 million as an NFL starting quarterback and played for playoff teams and was a very, like, he was Kirk Cousins before Kirk Cousins, right? Like, you're going to be a competent offense if you have him, but there's a ceiling to you. He threw 1 touchdown and 11 picks his rookie year. It's okay for Bo Nix to not do this, and I encourage Broncos fans, don't exhaust yourself by feeling like, oh, we have to defend every single thing for this season. It's okay. Bo Nix is going to throw some truly horrendous balls. It's going to be okay. Like, this guy played behind the best offensive line at Oregon. This guy had wide receivers running wide open all over the place. Guess what? Our wide receivers are not going to be wide open. Our offensive line is not going to give him all day. Like, he's going to make mistakes. It's okay.
The real problem is that in the ideal situation, the Broncos could sit him for like the first 6 or 7 weeks, and then they have a bye week and it's natural, whatever. But the bye week is super late. So you just don't get that option. And I'm looking at the schedule now. So the first game is on the road at the Seahawks. You really want to throw your star first round quarterback in the state that hates Oregon the most. Like, those Washington Husky fans in Seattle are going to be, they're going to be double cheering for the Seahawks, which is one of the worst places to play in the NFL. Anyways, and then they play the Steelers. Then it's the Buccaneers. But then you go Jets. So it just sort of seesaws. Like, you're playing a good team, then you're playing a bad team. And there's not like that natural, okay, you play 2-3 bad teams in a row, where it seems natural to put them, to switch quarterbacks. But I honestly would wait until the bye week, which I think is like comically late.
Yeah, for me, I just want him to have, it can't be a short week, and I need it to be at home. That's what I need. Those are my 2 criteria. And
so you're looking for like October 6th, the Raiders, but then you play the Raiders and the Chargers back to back. You play 2 division rivals.
Sounds great.
All right.
Sign me up, baby. You're going to get a juiced building.
That is probably the best way to do it, because then you go Raiders, Chargers, Saints, Panthers. But then you're just going to get absolutely boat raced by the Ravens and the Chiefs. But, yeah. Listen, like you said, there are going to be fun parts to the season. Just watch number 2 as long as he's on the field. I think this may be the last half of a season that he's on the field for us. So we need to really enjoy Patrick Surtain. And other than that, I think it's going to be really rough.
Yeah, that feels right to me. I think that the defensive performance that you're going to see this year is going to be really bad. And I think that's the part that people aren't talking about enough, is like, oh, also, we didn't get a chance to talk about it when it first happened. I'm just curious, why I understand it was a favor to the player and we like what we have. I couldn't tell you why, but why did we release Caden Stearns? Why are we releasing young talent on any way, shape, or form? He was fine for us last year with Mr. Suspension on the team. I get it. He's had injuries. He's had but we're just not in a position to be throwing away people who could potentially play, especially in our secondary.
No.
Our secondary, outside of Pat Surtain, it goes to show you, part of my research always is the Warren Sharp book, and we have the best corner in the NFL, and our secondary is ranked 28th. in the NFL. Like, that means that those other 3 guys have to be 4, because most people play a nickel almost all the time now. But, like, good God, they must be bad. So I think that there's...
the bad news is that
there's some things going on.
There's not much to get excited about. Like,
the other thing that I don't know how your concern level is, but are we concerned that we haven't heard tons of Javonte Williams really popped out today? And part of that is, like, I wasn't concerned when there were no pads, because I was like, that's, like, just running with no pads is not what makes Javonte Williams special, right? Like, he's special because he bounces off and he was getting all the angry runs before the ACL, all that. But, like, you talk about a young quarterback's best friend is, we're just going to run the hell out of the
offensive
ball.
line
And, like,
sucks,
you won't have to make...
And he's not the player that he was. Like, it's...
2 years removed, I was maybe hoping, hey, you're young enough, and it's 2 years removed.
It is the year after,
like,
the year
it's
after,
a lot of the time.
But
right.
it's...
But I haven't heard a lot of, he's really popping out there. Oh, man, was he moving people? Like, and I understand part of that is because everything is about Bo Nix and the quarterback stuff and all that. But, like, it'd be nice. I think if he ripped off a 40-yard run, and stiff-armed some of our crappy secondary or milk check out there, I think we'd hear about it. I can
tell you that I think the Broncos will be running the ball a lot, and I hope to have Javonte Williams in 0 fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that's that's kind of our training camp breakdown. I don't think, by the way, like we said, just don't stress yourself out about the training camp, man. Like, there's 0 reason. I understand, like, there's a local media business, like, invested in making you care about these daily updates. And, like, it was a 3rd down drill, and Zach Wilson was the only one to be successful. Well, Zach Wilson still sucks. So, like, I don't care. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like, these guys know the plays that's coming. Like, it's going to be...
The fact that Zach Wilson is being reported on just should tell you that you should stop caring. Like, that's the level. You can stop tuning in after we get Zach Wilson updates.
Yeah.
Just watch some Olympics.
So,
enjoy the Olympics while they're on.
That's it. All right. Anything else you really wanted to go over with this team out there?
No, the Broncos, absolutely not. No,
great.
Yeah.
I think we covered everything then. We'll be excitingly watching these 15 to 18
Wait,
plays
I did want
that
to
our
say something.
Starters
Do you
play
think we could trade Sean Payton and Bo Nix for Mike McDaniel and Tua?
No.
I don't think so either.
Absolutely not. Mike McDaniel by himself is, like, more valuable than Sean Payton and Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Bo Nix is 30. He's not really, folks. I know he's not 30.
I was hoping the brain damage might even it out, but apparently not.
Yeah. Well. Jeez. Listen, Mike McDaniel would probably come here and, like, figure out Zach Wilson.
I know. That's why I was thinking
like, he'd
about
be
it.
like, he'd be like, this guy's awesome. Like, wow, okay, Zach. And Zach would be swagging out there, banging moms.
Zach's all of a sudden Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be a thing. All right. So join us next week. We'll finish up the Olympics. If the Serbia pulls off a crazy upset tomorrow,
maybe we'll record an emergency pod, our first ever emergency podcast. If Serbia upsets the US.
I will agree to that. I will agree with that. I would do that, or and I'd put an and in there. I assume the gold medal game would be
Sunday. I think Saturday.
Okay. I would live watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I'd live watch it, too. I'd record the podcast while we're watching it.
If it's Serbia,
get the live
France,
reaction.
give me a break. Rudy getting messed up by Jokic in a gold medal game.
Yeah, it'd be beautiful. It'd be a Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah. So that's our promise to the people. But if not, we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll get into our NFL previews here. We gave out some real winners last year. We had fastest sack in the Super Bowl from Ryan. Like, we're coming off some money-making opportunities.
And honestly, I was actually looking back at my gambling from last year. I made so much money in the first 6 weeks. I think I'm just going to gamble in the first 6 weeks and then only live bet from there on out.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And honestly, basically only live bet the NFL. All right.
All right, boys. Well, it's been good to be back. It feels good to be back in the swing of things.
This was
in
wonderful.
The swing of sports out here. So go Jokic, go Serbia,
Could you imagine
go Jamal
what this
to
would have
sign
been
that
like
contract.
if the Olympics didn't happen? What the last week would have been like? Oh, there'd been a lot of baseball.
Doesn't bear mentioning, honestly. I'm already annoyed with how much Brandon Ayuk trade talk we get, but imagine what it would be if there were no Olympics to break it up. It would be awful. Yeah, it's honestly kept some of these training camp takes in check because people are watching the Olympics, which I'm thankful for. All right. Well, thanks to our super producer, Dan the Man, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Blues for Brothers is a Crab Shell Media podcast.